culinary undertaking. Today we're gonna make bacon wrapped jalapenos stuffed with cheese. I know what you're thinking. Oh, everyone on YouTube with a cooking show has done this before, but don't you worry. I've got a secret ingredient that's gonna make these different, and you're gonna like it. So we've got some jalapenos, we've got some bacon, I've got some cream cheese, some shredded cheddar, and a little shake to put on top. I'll show you about that when we get there. Now the cream cheese. This is not the good stuff. This is just the store brand stuff. There's no reason to splurge for the good stuff. By the time we mix it with other cheese and flavorings and put it in a jalapeno, wrap it in bacon, smoking, it's gonna be fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4 ingredients, 5 if you count that, 6 with the secret ingredient. Let me show you how we do it. All right, we're gonna start off with the filling. So we're gonna put our cream cheese into a big mixing bowl. Get in there. And by the way, this is room temperature cream cheese. You don't want to do this with right out of the refrigerator cream cheese because it will make it very difficult. And then to that, we're going to add our shredded cheese. I'll probably end up using about 2 cups. I don't measure it, I just eyeball it, just throw some in there. Start mixing. If you think it needs more, add it. I'll start right about there. And I'm just going to use a spoon and just sort of mix these two together. And you just want to keep going until the cream cheese gets smoothed out a little bit and you don't have any shredded cheese loose in there. You want it all to be incorporated in with the cream cheese. All right, that looks about right. Now, typically, what people will do is they'll mix these 2 cheeses, and then they'll take whatever their favorite rub or seasoning is. They'll put some of that in there, and they use that to stuff the peppers. Anybody can do that. We are gonna add our secret ingredient, which is some chorizo that I cooked earlier and gave it a chance to cool down because I want to put hot chorizo in with my cheese. We're going to put our chorizo in there. And then just combine that all together. Oh, by the way, this was 2 tubes of chorizo. And I did pre-cook it, so you want to cook it down. That way it's not going in here raw. And then when we put these on the smoker, we're not cooking any of the inside here, so it's gonna be fine. And when we cook it, we're essentially just gonna soften those peppers up and cook the bacon that we're gonna end up wrapping the peppers with. So just mix that to combine. About like that. And there we go. There's our filling. So now we just set that aside. And we'll move on to our peppers. Now these are just, I got these at the grocery store, jalapenos. They're pretty big, which are going to be great for stuffing. So we're just gonna take each one. I've already rinsed them and cleaned them off. Now I like to cut them and leave the stem on. That way, once we wrap them in bacon, I leave the top stick out, and it makes sort of a little handle. So we're just gonna go do this where you guys can see it. Right down the middle, cut them in half, and then I just take a regular little spoon and just take the membrane and the seeds out so we make room for our stuffing. And a piece of advice for you that I learned the hard way, I usually do these over the sink, but it's kind of loud for video to run the water and be over by the sink. But once these are all cleaned out, there was a couple times I ran these seeds and all the membranes and just put them right down the sink and into the garbage disposal. Yeah, bad idea. That's sort of like being pepper sprayed right in the face. But it only took me 3 or 4 times to learn that, so. And that's all there is to it. Just scoop these seeds and the membranes out. And if a few seeds fall in there, it's no big deal. Just like that, I'm going to keep working on these, and I'll bring you back as soon as I'm done. There's no sense of seed. So there, all the peppers are now halved and seeded. They're ready to go. And as you can see, like I mentioned, I like to leave the stems on there. So at this point, we just need to take our filling. Sometimes I use a spoon, sometimes I just get in there nice and dirty with the fingers and stick it in there. And there's no reason to overflow them or stuff them too hard, because it'll just run out and go all over the place and make a mess. So you just kind of pack the filling in there. And it stays real simple. It doesn't really want to come out once you get it in there. That is sticky stuff. Now I know on the other videos where people make these, especially the barbecue videos, they call these bacon wrapped jalapenos, they call them atomic buffalo turds. But since we have a secret ingredient in ours, I'm not going to call them that. So just take your filling, fill them up, and then we're probably going to have extra filling. So once I finish stuffing all of these, I'll show you what to do with the extra filling that's really good. And also the same filling works well if you want to stuff mushrooms. It works great for that. And also if you don't have jalapenos, or if you don't like jalapenos for some reason, I've also stuffed poblano peppers and wrapped those with bacon with the filling just like this. And it works great in those peppers too. Now if you know what a poblano is, you know they're much larger, so it takes a lot more stuffing per pepper, but it still works just the same. It's the exact same procedure and everything. It's just a bigger, different pepper, not as hot. So let me finish stuffing these, and I'll bring you back and show you what's next. And there they are. They're all stuffed. They're all ready to go. Next step is to add bacon. Now when it comes to bacon, I like thick cut bacon, and I use a whole entire strip. Now you're not going to need a toothpick or anything for these. I start right there, pull it a little bit tight, stretch it out, get a couple wraps around there, and boom, the bacon will stay there. It's not going anywhere. I don't like the thin cut bacon because it has a tendency to get too crisp and it's easier to burn, so I like the thick cut. And it's not flavored, it's not maple bacon or anything like that. It's just regular old bacon. And I'll finish wrapping these up. There's nothing to it. So there you go. I'll finish wrapping these, bring you back, and we'll go from there. All right, so there, the bacon is all wrapped. It's ready to go. I'm gonna hit it with some of this Traeger rub. I don't get paid by them. That's not an endorsement. I just happen to like it. And we'll give that a little sprinkle right on the top. Now, you don't have to use this. You don't have to put anything on it. Or use your own favorite seasoning if you just like some chili powder on there, or if you have your own special rub or flavoring, whatever you're into, whatever you like, put it on there. And then, so those are ready to go. We'll put those on the smoker in just a second. And I've got the smoker already set to 375. If you don't have a smoker, you can definitely make these in the oven. I would suggest putting them on a rack, then put them in the oven. That way the air can get under the bacon and make it crispy. Now I've got a tortilla here, and that's what I'm gonna do with the rest of my filling. Just take some of that, put it on the tortilla. Don't go clear out to the edge because it'll end up running off. But take your extra. I suppose a spoon would have been a good idea, but what the heck. Of course, you could also save the filling, put it in a bag, put it in the refrigerator, and go get more jalapenos or some mushrooms or whatever you want. But I've done this before, and this filling put on a tortilla, also cooked on the smoker. Oh, it's gonna be good. Let me wash up and I'll meet you out at the smoker. All right, here we are, preheated smoker. And then we just place them directly on the grate. And these will probably take 10-15 minutes. We'll keep an eye on them. So essentially just watch them, and when the bacon gets crispy the way you like it, they're good to go. Alright, so our poppers are on. There's our sort of half a quesadilla, whatever you want to call it. Now that'll only take about 10 minutes, so we'll come out and check on that, keep an eye on our peppers, and we'll get them off of there when they're done. Alright, our tortilla is nice and crispy. We're going to pull it off. So you can see that's crispy all the way around. The filling's nice and melty and gooey. We're going to let it cool down and we'll give it a try. Alright, it's been a half hour. And there you can see the bacon's crispy, it's tightened up. And these guys are done. I'm going to pull them off, and then we'll taste them and make sure they come out okay. Alright, so now they're off the smoker. They've had a chance to cool down, and there's the finished product. We've got a whole pan or a whole tray full of these. I had 11 peppers I started with, which gave us 22 little smoked poppers here. And how are they? You can see the bacon's nice and tight around there. It's crispy, they're not soggy anywhere. The cheese stayed in there. Ah, there's the inside. Now the chorizo is not overpowering, so you can definitely taste the pepper, the bacon. We get just a little hint of the rub we put on there. It's a little salty, you can get some of that. But the chorizo does not take it over, so it's very good. So if you've ever made these before without the chorizo, try making them this way and put it in there. Just add just a little something, and if you don't tell people, they won't figure out what you did. If you've never made these ever before, try these because they're really good. Now, what about the little quesadilla you asked? There it is. So you can see how crispy it got. It just breaks right off. Oh, and it's crunchy. I'm gonna try a little wedge, but there you go. Ooh, it's cheesy, but that's a fun little side. It's an easy way to use up the leftover filling that you have. Put some on a tortilla. In fact, it was so good, I made 2 small ones too. Those are on low carb tortillas, so those will be for Those will be for the little woman tomorrow. She can have those for lunch. But anyway, give this a try. It's really great. Take to a party, keep it home. And also these poppers, I make these all the time. Whatever's left and you put in the refrigerator, they're just as good cold. I just eat them right out of the refrigerator cold. Or you can heat them up. They take to the microwave pretty well too. So give them a try. Tell me what you think, and we'll see you on the next one.